Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I'm your host Doug here with your video blog for February 7th, 2014. Got a great blog planned for you again, just like I always do. We'll be hitting up some headlines later on. We'll talk about college recruitment signing day, which took place on Wednesday. But first off, I'm going to start with my college hoops preview, and I'm going to start by picking I'm going to pick three games first, start you off with the ranked teams. The first ranked game we'll see is between Michigan and Iowa. That is number 10, Michigan versus number 17, Iowa. That game will take place, I believe, at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Should be a good matchup. Nick Stauskas just really playing well for Michigan. I think Michigan will win this game on the road and continue marching forward as the Big Ten leaders. The marquee game tomorrow night, I believe game day's in Memphis tomorrow night for this one. Number 23, Gonzaga, taking on number 24, Memphis. Memphis isn't playing good. Joe Jackson's been playing out of his mind. Gonzaga, they've struggled this year shooting the ball. Haven't been shooting the ball great. I think Memphis will get it done at home and keep rolling on as they sneak out of conference here for a quick one. All right, my player to watch this weekend has to be Keith Appling of Michigan State, averaging 15 points. 5 assists per game, one of the best point guards in the country for sure. Keith, a big-time clutch shooter as well. They'll be taking on Wisconsin, and that's going to be a big game for them. They're going to have to take down Wisconsin to keep going, and they just have to keep trying to find ways to get wins so they can get their guys back and get them healthy. Syracuse, they'll be taking on Clemson 6 o'clock tomorrow, or 6 o'clock Sunday on ESPN. That'll be a good one. I think Syracuse, with the time off, has time to rest, had time to get fresh. They're going to come out ready to play. I got Syracuse winning this one by 12. And my upset alert, I'm putting Kansas State on upset alert this weekend. Or I'm putting Texas on upset alert this weekend as they get ready to take on Kansas State on the road. Texas coming off kind of a clunker against TCU. Didn't play great, got the win. But I think Texas will go down in Kansas State tomorrow. Kansas State, a very good team at home, and Bruce Weber will have his boys ready to go. All right, National Letter of Intent Day was Wednesday. We saw some players make some big moves late. Alabama finally came out with the top recruiting class. LSU number 2, Florida State number 3, A&M number 4, and Tennessee number 5. Kind of surprising. We'll see if Tennessee can get it going. Really, National Signing Day isn't going to mean a lot to me. It never has. These players aren't really going to be playing for another 3 years. Most of them will be redshirted. The team I think right now that people aren't talking about enough is Ohio State. Ohio State right now is pulling away from the other Big Ten schools in recruiting. Michigan State's starting to struggle. Ohio State, though, they got good defensive players coming in, and Ohio State's going to be a team to reckon with in this division for sure. Syracuse. Talk a little bit about the Syracuse recruits. I believe they signed 25 guys. I think they got 15 on the defensive side of the ball, 10 on the offensive. They got a big-time 4-star quarterback out of Florida. I think he's going to be a good addition. They got some good wide receivers. But the main thing they picked up was a lot of big defensive players, some big defensive backs, which is going to be key over the next couple of years going up against the Florida States, the Miamis, the Virginia Techs, the Dukes, going up against those teams in the ACC. They got to get bigger, they got to get stronger, they got to get faster, and we're seeing them do that. So Syracuse really making some big inroads with their recruits. That's all I really got for National Signing Day. Now I just want to go down through, hit up some headlines here on ESPN.com right now. So I'll just zip down through these briefly for you and get you out of here and get you ready for your weekend. We got a great, pretty decent sports weekend. We got NASCAR coming up next week. ESPN report says Jameis Winston will stay at FSU through 2015. That would give him 2 more years on campus. I can see this happening. He still has some facets of his game he probably wants to get going a little bit better. So we'll see if he stays. I bet he will. That's an interesting report there, and he'll also be able to play baseball as he's been playing baseball now and was named to the All-American, the 3rd-team All-American. Wade Phillips urges Texans to draft Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel could be the #1 overall pick in the draft. I think Jadeveon Clowney is a safer bet. We'll see what happens, but Wade Phillips, defensive coordinator, wants Johnny Manziel. Yankees introduce Masahiro Tanaka today, the $155 million pitcher that they signed, and the GM is saying he has number 3 potential. And let me tell you, he's got to have more than number 3 potential because people are not going to want to see him pitch if he's a number 3. He's got to be a number 1, and I think he will be, and we'll see what happens. And the final note, Babe Ruth signed baseball is sold in an auction for $250,000. That is quite impressive for sure. All right, Monday we'll be back. We'll talk new AP poll. We'll also break down a little bit of NBA All-Star Weekend as Damian Lillard will be the first player to compete in 5 events. He'll be in the Rising Stars Challenge. He'll be in the Skills Challenge. He'll be in the 3-point, the dunk, and the All-Star Game. We'll also start our baseball talk as well as we'll start getting into baseball. Spring training has begun. Pitchers and catchers are beginning to report, and we'll have more on that as we go through. Follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. That's YankeeBaller415. This is Doug saying so long for another episode. Always remember, comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. I will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you then.